Guys, welcome to the first ever lifted podcast. I'm going to start this so raw, and honestly, if I can give you guys one reason to listen to the lifted podcast, I have been thinking about this like all week because, well, honestly, I've been thinking about this for months because I just wanted to figure out what I actually wanted with this podcast. And honestly, if I can give you one reason to listen, it's just so you can feel not alone in what you're actually going through. Like, whatever is happening, I just feel like we all struggle, and I kind of want to talk about it. Like, I want to talk about it. Just doesn't matter how many followers you have, it doesn't matter who you are. We literally all struggle, and we're not alone in our struggles. Like we are all feeling the same kind of things. We're all going through some of the same things. And something that I've been going through in the past week that I really wanted to talk about is just a whole comparison thing. I posted it on my Instagram. A lot of you guys engaged with it. And I was like, why are we all feeling this right now? Why are we all going through this comparison thing? Don't get me wrong, comparison is actually not a horrible thing to go through. Like, it's actually healthy to go through comparison, to like compare yourself to other people. And I feel like there's so many different just different ways to compare, like appearance. If you're looking at someone else and being like, oh my god, I wish I had her hair, or I wish I had this, or oh my god, I wish I had something that she had. Abilities, I feel like I'm comparing my abilities so much lately. Like, why does my content suck, or why, like, stuff like that. Achievements, we compare all the time. Think about times when you've been in your career and or been in your job. I'm being like so formal. Why am I being formal? But think about like the achievements that, like, things that you've just accomplished, and oh my god, we just compare throughout our entire fucking life. The thing is, it's natural. And I think that's the thing, is people think that comparison is such a devil. Like, they think that comparing is just like the worst thing ever, and it's all bad and there's nothing good about it. But the thing is, there's good things and bad things about like everything that we do. And honestly, without comparison, you guys, we have zero motivation. And we also like use comparison to learn from other people. So there's been so many times when like think about it, you would not get off the couch and fucking do anything if you were not comparing to other people. Like, we would have literally no motivation. We'd probably be super lazy. We would have no motivation to learn from other people. Like, think about the times that you've been like, oh, I wish I had, I don't know, I wish I had her hair, or I wish I could curl my hair like she curls her hair. You go and you fucking learn that skill most of the time, unless you're going about it in the worst way. But most of the time, you're going to go and be like, okay, how did she do that? Because I want that. So it's great. Like, honestly, like, comparison is not the devil. It can be, though. Comparison can literally kill your self-esteem. Like, 100%. It can throw off your entire just like mental health, whatever. You will be at your lowest if you let it get to that point. And I think the most important thing is knowing when the fuck it gets to that point. Because I feel like lately I've almost been at that point. Like, I feel like it's killing my confidence lately. And I am like, what can I do to stop this? Because you get into this cycle of, I'm not good enough, and nothing that I do is good enough, and you start almost bagging on like every single thing that you're doing. And it turns a lot into like jealousy for other people. Like, you're jealous of, it could be literally anything. It could be someone's appearance. It could be you're jealous of someone's, for me, it's like someone's content, or, someone's life. Like, you like, think about social media, when you're on social media, and like how many times you've been like, fuck, I wish I had her life. Like, we do it all the time. But it also causes like, another bad thing about comparison is your loss of authenticity. Why can I not say that? But I think the thing is, like, we can do it unconsciously, but we can also do it consciously. And I think that is where we need to, like, know what is happening. So, things that happen like unconsciously would be like social media. When you're scrolling on social media, sometimes you're just scrolling and it's not like you're consciously being like, fuck, I wish I had her life. Sometimes you're literally just scrolling, but unconsciously you're saying things like that. I wish I had her life. I wish I had her. Oh my God, she has such a nice car. I bet you her relationship is perfect. And like you start making up these stories about someone that you don't even fucking know. But you're doing it unconsciously. Also, when you're growing up, think about like what happened between like you and your siblings or you and your family. Like, here's a story for you. Me and my sister. So when my sister was growing up, she was really good at art. Like off the bat, she was good at drawing. She was good at painting. Like she was just good at that shit. And like my parents praised her for it, which is like a normal fucking parent thing to do. You get once your kid is good at something, you're like, oh my God, you're so good at this. And you kind of like egg them on a little bit. Like, oh my God. I was never good at art. Anything art. Like, I mean, I'm sure there was something that I was good at, but like I don't remember being good at anything. And there's this one time. Okay. I don't actually know who got it for us, but we got these canvases. Then we got some paint. And both of us, of course, got it. So we had like big canvases, small ones, whatever. There was like so much. And I was like, why the fuck would someone buy this for me? Like, I'm not even good at art. Like, here's me thinking that I'm like not good. But of course, when she was growing up, because my parents said that, she's practicing and she's doing it because she feels like she's really good at it. And honestly, she was. She's a tattoo artist now. Like, she's bomb. But I got so upset, you guys. Like, I was like, why would you buy this for me? Like, what am I going to use this for? I'm not even good at art. So I literally just gave it to her, like, almost just out of hate because I was comparing myself to her. Like, realistically, I could have taken that and painted my fucking paintings and they could have been shit. But who cares? Like, honestly. But I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to give it back to her and I'm just going to like, make a whole scene about it and be like, I'm not good at this and whatever. That was like me unconsciously comparing myself to my sister because realistically, I could have looked at any other one of my friends, someone that's like not good at art, and been like, oh my God, I'm such a good artist. And it's like, I just never did that. Like, obviously, back then, I never knew what I was doing. Like, I didn't know I was comparing, but it happens a lot with siblings. It also happens like within your job. Like, you could be unconsciously comparing yourself to someone within your within your what do you call that, workplace. Yeah. Can you tell I've worked on my own for like the longest time? So that's like unconscious. It's just stuff that you don't really know is happening. Like scrolling on social media, sometimes you just don't know that you're actually comparing to people. But consciously, okay, this happens in fitness all the fucking time. And I can't tell you how many times when I started just getting into fitness and when I was starting to get into my fitness career and stuff, I would compare my body to someone that was in fitness for like 10 years. And I'm like, why? Like, why am I doing this? But you don't think about it, but you do compare yourself. And I think that's the thing is you almost need to catch yourself and be like, okay, realistically, how many times has this person done leg day in the last 10 years? And how many times have I done leg day in the last 10 years? It's probably not going to compare. You probably just started. Like, why are you comparing your body to someone that's been in it for way longer? But a lot of times we will sit there and we will like bag on ourselves for what? Like, what is this actually doing for us? Also material things. You can consciously be like, yo, I want that car because she has that car. Like, why do I not have that, but she has that? And then you get into this negative headspace. So like, I feel like lately, now that we've got what the fuck comparison is out of the way, lately I've been like scrolling on socials and comparing to anyone and everyone, like literally everyone. I am like, why does my reel not look like that? Why is my content not like that? Like, and it's just this endless scroll and this endless, like, I think the thing behind it is, what are you actually saying? Like, for me, I'm looking at these things being like, why are my reels not looking like this? Why are mine not as clear as this? Why are mine not as blah blah fucking blah? Like it's just this endless negative cycle. Also appearance. Okay, the other day, guys, this happened like 2 days ago. I was in the other room and I'm like, I heard it on a podcast that this girl got her fat like taken out of her face. And I was like, James, should I get the fat taken out of my face? And he was like, what the fuck? I don't even think he actually answered. Like, I think he was just like, oh my God, like, here we go. But to me, okay, I heard this on a podcast. I probably researched it for about 2 hours. 2 fucking hours of my life I spent researching this because I was like, my face is fat. You know where this came from? Years ago, when I started modeling, I had this group of friends. They were just like these, well, I don't really want to say that they were like nerdy guys, but they were just like basically the guys that are in like finance and business and whatever. And I met them in university. And when I started modeling, one of them said like, oh yeah, one of my friends was like, oh, is that your model friend? She's got like a dude's face. And I was like, oh, like he told me this and I was like, oh my God. And I think that took like the hardest hit in my self-esteem because for whatever fucking reason, whatever people say, like it can really hit you hard. And I feel like I've thought about that. And I feel like when I heard that, I was like, oh, really? And I looked in the mirror and then I started getting into these negative thoughts. And that's when, like, now that I hear that you can take the fat out of your face, I've always felt like I've had a fat face. So I'm like, maybe I should just change my whole fucking face. How unhealthy is that? But like, it's crazy because you can get into these toxic cycles of because one person said something, or because you saw someone do something, or because someone did something else, or because you just fucking want something. It's like you're going about it at this negative, like in this negative way. And that's what comparison can do, is you have this just fine line between it being your actual motivation and like pushing you to, I don't know, go to the gym or be healthier, or what else can it help you do? Just honestly be a better person. But then you also have the line where it's like, you are so negative about it and you're going about it in this like dark cycle of like asking why I don't have this, and it just turns really unhealthy. And that's been me lately. And I feel like it has been awful. So I was like, okay, how, because I'm in this negative space and because I'm, not that I'm feeding into it, but you almost need to take yourself out of it. And that's what I need to do. So I've been like, okay, I'm going to put my phone down. So anytime that I'm like sitting on my phone and scrolling, because I really honestly feel like that's the worst part of it, is if you are sitting there scrolling. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to post and then I'm going to put my phone down, because realistically, what am I doing scrolling? Like, what am I watching aside from making myself feel like shit? Like, honestly. Or I'm going to go for a walk, because I don't know if you guys know this, but like a walk is the best reset. I have been using walking. Is that a thing? I've been using walking as my reset for the longest time. Anytime that I'm sitting there being like anytime I'm in a negative space, or anytime I'm sitting there scrolling and I don't want to, I just go for a walk. 10-minute walk, take a joint. You kind of just get over it. And then you're like, okay, now I can actually sit and do shit. Also just remind yourself that like being in that negative comparison spot takes away everything that's authentic. So it will literally take away like your heart and soul almost, because I feel like I'm a really authentic person, like online and stuff. But as soon as I get into this space, I'm almost scared to put my face on a camera. And so it's like, bitch, you chose this career. Like, this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to put your face in front of the camera, and now you're doing something that's making you feel awful about it. So, like, stop. Like, literally just stop. I actually went to this retreat one time, and this is probably the best advice that I could give anyone. Not that I just want to give you guys advice, but I felt like this was the best advice that I got. So when I was in this retreat, we learned a lot about like letting things go and like, you know, stuff from our childhood and whatever. Not that I had like a messed up childhood, but I think that everyone gets certain things. Like, traumatic shit happens when you're growing up, you know? And one thing that she said just to like the group, she was just like, it's crazy how easy it is to let shit go and to just stop doing something. Like, you think about like, okay, if you were holding a pencil and you were just holding it, like, if you just think to yourself, just let it go, like, you'll just drop the pencil. So like, think about that in life. Like, if you're ever holding on to something, like, literally just tell yourself to let it go, because it's like, it actually is kind of that easy. Like, if you really just imagine it, it's kind of that easy, you guys. It's crazy. Speaking of like retreats and stuff, meditating is one thing that I'm doing too, to just like stop comparing. I feel like meditating is definitely another reset that I do, to just take 10 minutes to myself and like realize my own growth and like what the fuck I've done. Because if I actually look back in the past like year or two, it is crazy how much I've grown. But when I'm in this fucking mindset, I don't think about that. So you need to take the time. I need to take the time to sit there and either write it down or just think about it. Like, think about your fucking growth. Like, think about where you've been. Think about where you've gone. Think about just everything positive that has happened in the past, even just the past week. Yeah, and just challenging those thoughts kind of thing. Yeah, but I just feel like comparison lately has been a confidence killer for me. And I feel like it definitely is for a lot of girls. Social media, it's my fucking career and I love it. And I love how much it's opened people up. Like, think about the things that we've learned on TikTok. We've learned so much shit on TikTok. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't like step away and realize like I just want you guys to take from this and just remember that like we are all fucking different, and it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter who you are, how many followers you have, what you're doing. There's always going to be someone to look up to. That doesn't mean that you have to compare yourself to them. Think of them as like motivation, or, you know, like let them inspire you. I feel like if you actually think about them as inspiration and go about it in a little bit more of like a positive way, it is so much fucking easier. Like, the next time that you're on your phone and you're like, yo, I wish I had her hair, like, don't think of it that way. Think of it as like, how can I get that hair? Like, how, if I really fucking want it, how do I do my hair that way? How do I don't know. I mean, you don't have to be as dramatic as I am and like take the fat out of your face. Not sure if that's going down or not. I will let you guys know. But yeah. Anyways, just remember who you are, and remember that like if you do compare that much, all of your authenticity will be fucking gone. And I need to like get that back. So like, this is like the only reason that I'm making this podcast is I literally need to do it for myself and be like, stop being not confident. Like, we all deserve to be confident. So, anyways, I love you guys. That's the end. What else? Subscribe, comment, like. I don't know where this is going. So, thanks for joining, besties.